On Osrc News at 7, Governor Ayedatiwa holds thank you rally, promises all-inclusive governance. Tinubu seeks National Assembly's approval on 1.77 trillion naira external borrowing for 2024 budget deficit. Senate to probe 105 billion naira financial infractions by federal government agencies. And from the foreign scene, global conflicts, poverty, hunger top agenda as world leaders meet in Brazil. Hello and thanks for joining us on the news tonight. I am Sahid Arabisala. Ondo State Governor-elect Lucky Ayedatiwa has led a thank you rally to express gratitude to the people for their support in the gubernatorial election. Ayedatiwa was accompanied by his deputy, Dr. Olaide Adelami. Party leaders and supporters moved through major streets in Accra, the state capital, acknowledging cheers from residents who turned out in numbers to celebrate his historic victory. There's more in this report. On the back of a victorious contest in the 2024 governorship election, the winner and incumbent governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, is taking his appreciation for the confidence reposed in him by the electorate beyond words. To demonstrate this gratitude prompted Governor Ayedatiwa and his running mate Olaide Adelami to lead members of the All Progressives Congress on a thank you rally across the metropolis of Accra, the state capital. The thank you rally, which took off from the government house in Alagbaka, moved through the popular NEPA roundabout to the Arakale business hub. With enthusiasm, the businessmen and women momentarily abandoned their transactions to acknowledge Governor Ayedatiwa's appreciation with a display of excitement. The excitement was palpable as commuters and passers-by joined the motorcade of the governor as it moved to Isikon Market. As dusk began to set in, the thank you rally thereafter proceeded to bypass access of the state capital. And then to the Obade Shida Road. At Ojaoba, traders and residents who were done with the day's task waved and captured the moment of thanksgiving by the governor and his team. The music, which rendered the market atmosphere, provided a spark of energy for the residents chanting slogans in support of the governor. The Director General of the APC Campaign Council and member representing Ondo East, Ondo West Federal Constituency, Dr. Abiola Makinde, said the APC won the election because of the confidence and the belief the people had in the candidate, Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa. He emphasized that the thank you rally was to appreciate the people for giving the governor another 4 years to serve.
And we the governor returned to the city to thank them for what they have done, voting for them, and we use Accra as a point of contact to all the other 17 local governments to thank them for their trust in the government, in himself, Lucky Ayedatiwa, and his deputy governor, Dr. Adelami. So what we did today is to thank the people. He waved to almost everyone along the way to thank them for the victory. and that's exactly what we've done. And that's he's a man that is of good character, a cerebral, and also a good listener. So you could tell that impromptu he had to go there and just thank them.
The victory of the All Progressives Congress and its candidate Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is a record win in the political landscape of Ondo State, with the electorate across the 18 local government areas vesting in the candidate a mandate to steer the affairs of the state. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News. More commendations have continued to trail the just concluded governorship election in Ondo State as observer groups described it as free, fair and credible. Team leader of coalition of INEC accredited election observer groups for 2024 Ondo State governorship election, Al-Jamir Mohammed, while briefing newsmen on their observations, said the exercise met international standards and best practices. Omoro Langbaji has details.
Early arrival of INEC officials and electoral materials, impressive turnout of voters, proper representation of security personnel, among others, were part of the observations of the groups.
The conduct of the Ondo State governorship election held last Saturday,
while noting that the governorship election has been the most peaceful exercise in recent times, the leader of the group, Al-Jamir Mohammed, attributed the success story to proper orientation provided before the election.
the coalition of the INEC accredited election observer groups that observe the 2024 Ondo governorship election do hereby state that the election, which was conducted being free, and not only free, but fair, credible, and violence-free, which makes it to meet the international standards and best practices all over the world.
Al-Jamir commended the timely arrival of results at the collation centers, stressing that the process was transparent, peaceful, and orderly.
Counting process was also credible, as the party agents present during the counting period signed the result sheets, an indication of affirming the authenticity of the election results, after which the results were conveyed to the RA Coalition Center with the escort of the security personnel. Most of the results arrived at the coalition centers on time, and the process was transparent, peaceful, and orderly.
He recommended that more intensive grassroots advocacy and voter education should be prioritized in the subsequent elections.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, NPF, Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps, that is NSCDC, Department of State Services, DSS, Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, etc., and the manner in which they conducted themselves was very friendly.
The off-cycle governorship election in Ondo State was conducted on Saturday, November 16, 2024, which returned the incumbent governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, into power. Omori Olahunbiji, Osrc News.
President Bola Tinubu has written to both the Senate and the House of Representatives seeking approval of a new external borrowing of $2.209 billion, an equivalent of 1.767 trillion naira, as provided for in the 2024 Appropriation Act. According to the President, the request was part of Nigeria's budget plan that is aimed at addressing a portion of the 9.17 trillion naira fiscal deficit in the 2024 budget. President Tinubu has also forwarded to the Senate the 2025 to 2027 mid-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper approved by the Federal Executive Council on November 10, 2024. The President's request was in line with the provisions of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act 2003. The President appealed for swift legislative action, emphasizing the importance of timely resolution to implement the borrowing plan. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, referred the matter to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, chaired by Senator Aliyu Wamako, with instructions to report back within 24 hours. President Bola Tinubu has announced the restructuring of the State House Media and Communications team aimed at streamlining the government's communication processes. This restructuring was announced in a press statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. In this new restructuring, Sunday Daru, previously Special Advisor on Public Communication and National Reputation, now assumes the role of Special Advisor, Media and Public Communications. Also, Daniel Bwala, initially designated as Special Advisor, Media and Public Communication, has now been reassigned as Special Advisor, Policy Communication. In addition, the role of Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, held by Bayo Onanuga, remains intact. The Presidency clarified that these appointments signal a departure from the traditional model of a single spokesperson. This new structure, according to the release, is designed to ensure efficient and consistent dissemination of government policies, decisions, and engagements. We're going to take a break on the news at 7. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us. It's still the news at 7 on Osrc Television. You can watch us live on our website www. Or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. To more stories now. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has commemorated International Women's Day celebration with empowerment of women in Ondo State. Themed the role of women in sustainable development, the occasion held in Accra highlighted and celebrated the significant contributions of women to the sustainable growth of the Niger Delta region. Our correspondent, Kule Ario, reports.
The event was powered by the Benino Apan Development Foundation and featured the participation of women leaders, dignitaries, policymakers, and advocates from various sectors. The gathering emphasized the critical role women play in economic, social, and developmental sustainability, aligning with Global Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). The Executive Director, Corporate Services of NDDC, Ifedayo Abegunde, acknowledged the importance of women inclusivity in sustainable development. Abegunde emphasized that sustainable progress is only possible when all members of society, particularly women, are given the platform to contribute their skills and perspectives. Delivering a lecture, one of the guest speakers, Mrs. Oniomomumi, pointed out that women's health, both physical and mental, is fundamental to achieving broader sustainability development objectives.
We need to educate ourselves often. We need to have education campaigns about health, campaigns about well-being. In fact, campaigns about how we dress and look. Yes, we need to take all these things very, very important. As women, you have to be the wife, the girlfriend, the side chick, the mother, the sister of your husband. He has to see everything in you.
In a lecture, one of the guest speakers, Justina Akredolu, noted that women are often central in grassroots community development.
Women are very powerful. Please encourage yourselves, encourage your female children to be financially responsible, to be financially literate. Learn how to do something. Have something in your hands. something that can take care of you, something that can sustain you.
The speakers underscored the need to invest in women's health, education, and economic opportunities, stressing that the investment is not just a social obligation, but also a catalyst for national growth.
They should try to bring this kind of a program down to our domain, not to the urban, so these people can be part of it. They can know what is going on in the society. They can know what is going on in the women development. They can know the role of women particularly, not that they can be only be fishing and farming. They can know that women too are capable in all areas of life.
They taught us a lot of things that we don't know before, and we go and practice it at home.
There was a call to action urging stakeholders, government agencies, and the public to continue to support women empowerment as a critical component of sustainable development. Kunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
To the National Assembly now, where the Senate has vowed to invoke parliamentary sanctions against any head of federal government agencies for financial infractions in the report submitted to the National Assembly by the Auditor General for the Federation. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance, Senator Garba Madoki, gave the warning at a one-day workshop in Abuja. Madoki lamented the rate at which heads of the ministry, departments, and agencies have been shunning Senate summons and warned that further disregard for the resolutions of the Red Chamber would no longer be tolerated. He noted that transparency and accountability in government financial management systems could not be overemphasized, particularly given the country's rapidly dwindling revenues, as well as its impacts on an annual budget. Auditor General, in his latest annual reports on the financial conduct of public institutions currently before the two chambers of the National Assembly, had revealed that a total sum of 105.66 billion naira had been expended by ministries, departments, and agencies in breach of extant rules and regulations. The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has explained why it could not deliver the much at Port Harcourt Refinery Company. The NNPC Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Shoneye, said the company encountered risk and challenges while carrying out the rehabilitation, being a brownfield project. He noted that the NNPC began the commissioning of critical equipment and processing units after the mechanical completion in Nigeria. NNPC desisted from giving new deadlines for the delivery of the refinery, having failed to meet its deadlines after 7 times and barely 2 months after the September completion deadline flopped. The moribund Port Harcourt refinery is one of the 3 owned by the federal government and managed by the NNPC. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has started to enforce the implementation of passenger bill of rights that they are fully compensated whenever airlines compromise in their standard of service as contained in Passenger Bill of Rights in the Nigeria Civil Aviation Regulation. The agency said that in compliance with the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulations, it would be imposing fines of $170 and 10,000 naira on foreign and local airlines, respectively, for delayed passengers' luggage as a first measure. It also stated that such delayed luggage must be delivered to the affected passenger on international routes within 21 days, while for local flights it must be delivered within 7 days. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority records indicate that no fewer than 19,274 passengers' luggage across all airlines, both foreign and local, were declared delayed or missing in the first half of 2024. And outside Nigeria now, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says lives should not be put at risk in a standoff between police and illegal miners. Hundreds of people are believed to be stuck underground in a disused gold mine. Family members want them rescued, but police says they're armed and dangerous. To report. Fundeswamy Sani doesn't know if her 28-year-old son is dead or alive. He left home several weeks ago to work in a disused gold mine in northwestern South Africa. Illegal mining is seen as an easy way to make money in a country where 1 in 3 people is unemployed.
He's the breadwinner in the family. He looks after his sisters and brothers. I'm so worried. I need answers, but no one can tell me what's going on.
Initially, police in Stilfontein had blocked supplies of food and water to the illegal miners to try to force them out. Some are believed to have been underground for months. But after public outrage, some supplies have been sent to the hundreds of people believed to be in the disused shaft. It is not clear if they are unable to get out or just don't want to return to the surface.
It's just not supposed to be happening in a democratic South Africa. In this situation, the efforts should obviously be focused on a safe return through a rescue effort to bring everybody to the surface.
Illegal mining has been a thriving industry in South Africa for decades. Operations are often run by organized criminal networks. One local government official said no police officers would be sent down the shaft because many of the men underground are heavily armed and dangerous. This is one of the entry and exit points. There are many holes like this in the area. People climb in and then they crawl through the tunnel. It is a maze down here. Illegal miners can spend weeks, sometimes months, underground. President Ramaphosa says the situation at the mine is precarious. He has urged police to do their job but also to respect people's rights and not put lives at risk. Authorities say this area is a crime scene when they could turn volatile. Sahira Rebisala, Osrc News. Leaders of some of the world's biggest economies are in Brazil this week for the annual G20 summit. Wars in the Middle East and Ukraine were high on the agenda, even though the leaders of both Russia and Ukraine were not there. Meanwhile, the summit host, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, proposes an ambitious agenda to tackle global poverty and hunger. Ebunluwa Akinroje tells more.
President Joe Biden arriving here at the G20 summit amid news that is some of the restrictions on Ukraine using U.S. long-range missiles to hit targets inside Russia. It is something President Zelensky, who is not invited to this summit, has long asked for. But there's a problem. Biden only has 2 more months in office. Perhaps that's why one of Ukraine's staunchest Western allies is urging NATO nations to stay the course.
I'm at the G20 with one message, which is that we must double down on our support for Ukraine. Tomorrow is day 1,000 of the conflict. That's 1,000 days of aggression from Russia and 1,000 days of sacrifice from Ukraine.
On Gaza, President Biden stuck to what's becoming a consistent line. He says he wants a ceasefire but blames Hamas for blocking one that clearly ignores the fact that the deal he himself proposed in May, which was accepted by the Hamas, was stopped by the Israeli Prime Minister. Meanwhile, the summit host Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva is proposing an ambitious agenda to tackle global poverty and hunger.
In 2024, there will be 733 million people still facing undernourishment. It is as if the populations of Brazil, Mexico, Germany, the United Kingdom, South Africa, and Canada combined were going hungry.
But with this plan that would require richer nations to step up, fights the American first agenda of the incoming U.S. president. Ebunluwa Akinroyeje, Osrc News.
To Canada. Canada has announced increased permissible work hours for eligible international students during academic from 20 to 24 hours per week. This adjustment aims to provide greater opportunities for students to gain work experience while maintaining their focus on academics. Canada's Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Minister, Mark Miller, said this policy change will give students more flexibility to manage their time and gain practical experience. The updated regulations permit students to work up to 24 hours per week during academic terms. This increase offers greater employment opportunities while ensuring students can maintain a sustainable study schedule. And to end the news tonight, another look at the major stories. We told you that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has held a thank you rally displaying his appreciation to Ondo State people for the confidence reposed in him in the November 16 governorship election. Was informed you that President Bola Tinubu was sought the approval of the National Assembly on 1.77 trillion naira external borrowing for 2024 budget deficit. Was informed you that the Senate has vowed to probe the 105 billion naira financial infractions by federal government agencies following the report submitted by the Auditor General for the Federation. And from the foreign scene, global conflicts, poverty, hunger tops agenda as world leaders meet in Brazil. And that's the news tonight. Thanks for watching.